Donald Trump has been facing humiliation after humiliation since polls closed last night, and I've had a smile on my face the whole time because Donald Trump, after suffering several brutal election losses, decided that wasn't enough. He decided he wanted to embarrass himself more by taking to Twitter, taking to Truth Social, making some insane post, one of which was illegal and one of which he had to delete because it was just so embarrassing and backfired so badly. We are going to get into the disaster that has been the last 24 hours for Donald Trump and the post he had to delete. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this post that was about Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani, I want to start with how he responded to Donald Trump early this morning in a clip we got to check out.
You said that President Trump was watching you last night. It appears that he was watching you. And it also appears that he and other Republicans are trying to make you the poster boy of the Democratic Party. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, calls you a true extremist and a Marxist. And he says now every House Democrat incumbent and candidate will co-own Mamdani's disastrous record in the 2026 midterms. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm looking forward to showing the power of an example here in New York City, an example of what it means to not just diagnose the despair in working people's lives as the cost of living crisis, but to deliver on it. And that's the contrast between myself and President Trump. He's someone who ran an entire presidential campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries and is now, as the president, making it harder for Americans to afford those groceries by cutting SNAP benefits.
You worried he's going to crack down on New York City, maybe even do what he's done and tried to do in Portland and other cities, call the National Guard in?
You know, I think that his threats are inevitable. I also know that it's time we actually call this for what it is. This has nothing to do with safety. It has to do with intimidation. If it was safety, President Trump would be threatening to deploy the National Guard to the top 10 states of crime, 8 out of which are all Republican-led, but because of that party, he won't actually be doing so.
So you say you won't be intimidated. How do you stand up to it?
I think there's a number of ways. The first thing is you actually utilize the courts. You stop treating things as being law just by virtue of the fact that President Trump is saying them. You can look at the example of California, where you find the Attorney General, the Governor, and the Mayor of LA coming together, filing a lawsuit in opposition to the deployment of the National Guard. A federal judge found in their favor, and the Attorney General estimated that for every dollar they spent, they recovered more than $30,000 in funds that would have otherwise been seized by the federal.
Zohran is not afraid of Donald Trump. He is much like the leaders that have had the most success sparring with Trump. I'm thinking of a Zelensky. I'm thinking of a Mark Carney, guys who understand that the only way to respond to a bully is to hit back. You can't be weak. You can't give him your lunch money. He'll only come back hungrier. And we know the fat fuck that Donald Trump is sure likes to eat Big Macs all the time. We can see it in his cankles. So how you have to respond is by saying, no, Donald, you will not intimidate me. You will not come for this city. If your illegal masked men bust down doors and break into communities, they will be prosecuted. In fact, ICE should be afraid of Zohran Mamdani because he will actually hold them accountable. He will actually make sure that justice is served and that they cannot break the law and harass people for simply existing and being brown, because that is what we know Donald Trump wants to do. Like Zohran said, if he cared about crime, maybe go to some of those red states, like Mike Johnson's state, like Mike Johnson's district, where crime is rampant. But no, Donald Trump wants to harass black and brown people. Donald Trump wants to harass trans people. But standing in the way is an immigrant, the mayor of New York City, who has made Donald Trump's life miserable before he was even elected and will continue to make his life miserable before he's even sworn in, and then he will continue to do so afterwards. And Donald Trump is obviously not happy about that because he had this to say earlier today.
I mean, it's possible. We've done a lot. On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country.
We've lost some sovereignty. Why? Is like Sharia law implemented in New York? It's outlandish that Donald Trump is accusing Zohran of like stealing the U.S. or making it worse or taking away dignity from governing. Dignity from governing. Donald Trump is the biggest fucking joke in the history of elected officials. So don't talk to me about dignity, okay? Donald Trump is ripping up the White House. He's ripping up the White House. And then what? We're supposed to believe that Zohran, just because he wants buses to be free, your child care to be taken care of, and there to be dignity in work, you to be able to afford your rent, you to actually live in a city and not be paralyzed by the fear of a medical bill bankrupting you, of rent increases, driving you from your home, that is removing dignity from governing. It is the opposite. This is a guy with an aspirational vision. Donald Trump doesn't see it that way, clearly. So he was freaking out on Truth Social. He was freaking out on Twitter so badly, in fact, that he had to delete one of these posts. God, it's hilarious. God, this has been such a fun 24 hours, but let's check it out. Last night, Donald Trump tweeted, "And so it begins. Pass voter reform, voter ID, no mail-in ballots, save our Supreme Court from packing, no two-state edition, terminate the filibuster," also writing Republicans, "terminate the filibuster, get back to passing legislation, and voter reform, President DJT." The White House also posted a tweet using the New York Knicks logo, it's obvious copyright infringement, after Zoran was elected, and it says, "Trump is still your president." The Democrats' account responded, showing Donald Trump taking an L, writing "Bing Bong," having a little New York fun. And Peter Hamby, journalist in front of the show, pointed out that the White House deleted their Knicks-looking tweet after the DNC dunked on them. Bing Bong. Take the L, Donald. You lost. And that tweet, again, was copyright infringement. The White House saying that Donald Trump is still your president. Well, Donald, not for long. And Zoran is the mayor who's going to make your presidency a lot weaker and a lot worse. Worse for you, better for us. So I think we'll all take that. But yeah, this White House, they've been humiliated. Last night was a blowout. Donald Trump is an embarrassment, and I will continue to hear Republicans continue to say it. Donald Trump wasn't on the ballot. This is their cope. Right? This is their, we got to protect our feelings. Oh, little dear leader. Oh, we got to protect his feelings. Oh, Trump. Oh, he's going to be so insecure when he sees that everybody hates him. Oh, Donald, you weren't on the ballot. It's okay. It's okay, little Donnie. Little Donnie, you weren't on the ballot. People aren't angry with you. Absolutely they are. Donald Trump wasn't on the ballot. Donald Trump is in our ears. He's on our screens. It's just constant, 24/7. People went to the polls because they were fed up with Donald Trump. So many people. And while that's important, I'd also like to point out the fact that so many people went to the polls understanding how much they hate Donald Trump, but voting for a Zoran Mamdani, voting for the fight that Gavin Newsom is showing with Prop 50, voting for Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger, and of course, y'all know I love Zoran a little bit more, but still, people promising an affirmative vision, an aspirational vision of governing, saying our politics can be more than this. Not that our politics will just beat back Donald Trump in this authoritarian takeover, because of course that is important. That is issue number one, beating fascism, right? That's number one. But it's not just about that. And that's not what it was just about last night. And maybe that's why Republicans are trying to cope. But what I'll tell you is, if last night was just a repudiation of Trump, if it was just a repudiation of Trump, I'd honestly be a little worried. Because the problem that we've had as a Democratic Party is not having a fuller vision of what we're about, not having a broader platform about what we're working towards, right? It's been a lot of protecting. Zoran talks about this, that we feel like we just have so little right now, and to say we want to defend that little bit that we have. Well, the billionaires have their mega yachts and their super ugly weddings and whatever it may be. We just got this little slice of the pie. We're going to defend that. No, let's think bigger. Let's build bigger. That is what our politics should be about. It should not be about making life okay and incrementally better. Fuck the incrementalism. It should be about big, bold, structural change that drives towards delivering dignity for people. That's what our party platform should be about. Not these small little tweaks of systems that don't work because they don't work. It's how we got Trump, because the systems were broken. Now this fucking criminal, pedo in the White House, is breaking them further for him and his other pedo friends, by the way. But no, this is what it's about. Of course we want to beat back Donald Trump, but bring that aspirational vision. That's what Zoran did. That is why months ago, back in January, I was so stoked to hear about his campaign. And then we interviewed him in February, posted that video in March. I'm not taking credit. I'm just saying, look where we are. Look at the power that we've built. The outsider, doing interviews with independent media before the first time he ever went on CNN or MSNBC. That is powerful. We have that power. That's with us. That's with this community right here. How does that not get you excited? And Donald Trump is pissed. It's awesome. It's great. You should be smiling all day as well. Take this bit of joy. We earned it. We fought for it. We deserve it. And let's keep building on it. And let's listen to those who have laid out the path. Someone who obviously did was Bernie Sanders, and he had to say this right here.
It's not a, look, then you have to go through a long book of what democratic socialism means. To my mind, if you make clear to the American people that there's something wrong, where one person in America owns more wealth than the bottom 52%, do you think Americans feel good about that? Right now, the billionaire class is doing better than it has ever done, while 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. We are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. 20 million households paying 50% of their limited incomes for housing. What the American people, I think, are asking is how come we can't have a government that represents everybody rather than just the billionaire class? Why can't we have an economy that works for everybody rather than just the people on top? So you can call it whatever you want it. Then you can, and there's a lot of discussion on how do you do. Let me ask you, the real issue is these oligarchs are so powerful. Right now you're looking at, Musk and the others investing hundreds of billions of dollars into AI, which in my view will have a devastating impact on the jobs of many millions of Americans. Who's going to stop them? Can we rally the American people to protect American jobs and workers in this country? A lot of issues that are out there. But bottom line is we need to bring people together to stand up to the oligarchs and create an economy that works for all. Yes?
What is the risk for the midterms next year if the party leadership does not embrace this flank of the party?
Well, the party leadership did not support Mamdani in New York, and he won. Party leadership is not supporting Platner in Maine, and I think he's going to win. So I think it is, I think there is a growing understanding that leadership and defending the status quo and the inequalities that exist in America is not where the American people are.
This is what it's about. We got to keep up the fight. We got to keep bringing it to them. I'm stoked to do it. God, guys, I'm so proud of us. I really am. I'm really proud of y'all. And I'm so excited to keep fighting. And if you want to support us doing that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.